We got to bring you here. I am going to bring it.
Take care of us. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here. I'll call the meeting to order. The meeting of the Hyde County Board of Directors. Thank you all for being here, members of the administration, public. So we start our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, so let's stand together. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start our meetings by reading our mission and vision statement, and Alex.
Our mission statement. Hydewood Academy's mission is cultivating lifelong learners in a student-centered environment. Hydewood Academy's vision is to be an exemplary school of choice for academically minded families.
And Amanda will read the 3 R's.
The 3 R's. We practice the 3 R's. Rights. The right to a quality education, the right to a safe environment, the right to reach my potential. Respect. I will respect my classmates. I will respect my teachers. I will respect myself. Responsibility. I am responsible for my education. I am responsible for my actions. I am responsible for my opportunities.
Thanks, Amanda. And the education.
Pray with me, please. Father, we thank you for your omnipresence. We thank you for being omnipotent. And Father God, we thank you for being omniscient. We thank you, Father, because those qualities you are able to be in all places at all times, Father. And because of that, we know that we can rely and trust on you and we can rest comfortably upon your judgment. So, Father, we're asking you to now come into this assembly of people, Father, and help us to make decisions that will be far-reaching, far beyond this meeting that we have here today, Father God, impacting people for generations to come. We're going to trust you because you're not a man that you should lie. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Okay, board members, you have a chance to look over the meeting agenda. Ask for a motion to approve the meeting agenda. Tika, thank you for the motion. Second, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. Next thing on the agenda is public comments. Jenny, Joe, did anyone sign up?
No, there are no public comments.
Which brings us to the student spotlight.
Thank you very much. We have some students we're going to be doing today. Mr. Lancaster is not with us tonight. He's got some sick family members. So Ms. Harris is going to do elementary and middle.
Miss Pettit is going to do elementary.
Okay,
Yeah,
bet.
I'm gonna help out Mr. Lancaster as he has some kids. So I have the certificates for the elementary, and I think Ms. Harris has it for the middle school for Lego League. Our kids, they met every Monday and Thursday afternoon after school, and they had to create a project that had that they had to tell how they could make in a product that we already have more sustainable, environmentally sustainable, so they came up with a project about electric plane. And so they had to present that in front of judges. There was about, how many judges were in front of y'all? 3 judges, yeah. So they had to talk in front of adults and really present their ideas. And then they had to go do 3 different robot runs, and they did very well this year, so we're all really proud of them. So I call your name, let's see, Kingston, come on up. Stand up here. Yep. Stand up here and smile. We have a few that weren't able to make it tonight. We have Kaylee McClure and Lydia Paz, Mehur Patel. Sydney Pearson. There you go. Oh, and you've got your name up printed twice. You've got your name up printed twice, so you get 2. All right, so these are a few of the elementary ones that participated.
And for middle, we'll do them all together. We have Blake Garrett, I don't think Blake is here, Colin McCamey. Ben Israel. Elizabeth Crocker. Maria Pettit. And Caleb Sherman. Not here. Congratulations, guys.
She'll be able to do Lego League, so this is her last year, but the rest of these, they can apply again, do it again next year, so.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, great job.
I have one student to recognize tonight. I'm gonna have to call her name so she can come up. Riley Keel, she comes forward. Big recognition tonight. Happy parents here. Congratulations. Briley has received the Promise Scholarship from USC Upstate, which is a full tuition scholarship.
Post the picture.
You can speak for it.
Happy, could you tell the rest of the parents how our kids can get that
You have to sign up.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, and parents, you're welcome, this public meeting, you're welcome to hang around, but I'll give you a moment if you would like to exit. You're also welcome to exit along if you want to step out, so. Give a little break.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
That's all.
One more through.
I'm still recovering from the full tuition scholarship.
That's a great feeling. My son received that scholarship the same time she received hers, so his mother and I are very pleased.
You should.
Yeah.
Very pleased.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good idea.
We're gonna cut your salary next year.
Russell does not need as much money.
Appreciate that, boss. It's always been some.
I'm here for you.
Okay, moving on. Okay, looking at the January board minutes, board members, any changes from those minutes from last month? I wasn't here, so I don't know, but I hear Derek did a great job. So thank you for jumping in when I was doing well covered. Okay, I could have a motion that we approve those minutes as presented. Thanks, Alex. And second, Paul, thank you. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Mr. King, thank you so much for being here. January financial report.
Alright. So these are the financials through January 31st. That's 7 months of the year, so 42% overall is the kind of number you want to see. The income statement, the main kind of highlights for this month, a recent point of conversation has been in regards to the federal funds. That's also why the net income is in the positive through January 31st as of this month, which we'll look at the bottom. For the title funds, $87,000 has either been deposited or claimed, $148,000 for IDA, and $462,000, most of that being ESSER 2 and ESSER 3. 160,000 of those between those funds was actually deposited in the bank account by January 31st from claims made in the prior quarter and earlier in January. And the rest of it, close to $500,000, uploaded in the latter half of January and in February, which had not been deposited as of the time of the printing of the, or had not been deposited as of January 31st. Some of those have been deposited in February. And just to go back to the balance sheet, just so we can see the actual total, that was $537,000. Just I know that memorized. That was claimed or had not been deposited on January 31st. That has been claimed. As of the printing of these reports, which was on Wednesday, there's I think 75 packets over 800 pages worth of submissions. And I was out there as a father, but I understand that it's now over 100 packets that were eventually submitted for claims. I guess Mr. Lancaster isn't here, but good work by him as well in the last week or two in that regard. On the expenses, there's no like big expense that stuck out in the month of January, with the exception of the bus, which is in this people service activity line, which is a transportation line, was not in the original budget. But there was a $160,000 bus that was purchased. I think it was approved by the board previously. That's fine. During the audit, it'll be classed out as a capital asset. But during the fiscal year, since the books are also reported to the state on a modified accrual basis, they have to show up on the income statement. But even with that expense in there, the net income is still to the good, $223,000. Again, largely due to a lot of those claims being made for federal funds. The budgeted net income is to be in the black, $291,000. So it's looking good in that fashion. I should always point out this line, the state aid to classroom line overall is close to that 41.67%. Kind of want to see it. That's always good to look at, because that's the big line where $13.3 million is budgeted out for revenue. So make sure that's pretty accurate. But that is the gist of it. The big highlights being federal report there, and then the bus expense being the main expense. That was out in the month of January. Any questions on any of those things, or anything I did not touch on?
Debt service ratio.
The budgeted debt service ratio is on $291,000 is 1.14. So if y'all end up being at $291,000 or greater at the end of the year, and that's without any add back for capital expenditures, then you'll be good. And at $223,000 net black recorded, again, a lot of it being reported as due from funds. That's probably the highest it's been in the month of January anyway, in quite some time. Just for comparison's sake, as of December 31st, the bottom line was an operating loss of around $240,000.
On the expenses, is the percent remaining supposed to be around 42 also?
It is. There are some lines that are over or at a higher rate there. A large part of that is in the revenues. We have only budgeted for salaries that are being spent with federal funds, which are already in the overall budget. But any supplies that would be spent on federal funds or restricted state funds are not in the expenses. That's basically your general fund expense lines. Largely mainly to be conservative, we do want to keep every fund separate. But it's also because the federal budgets generally have been at a high level, so they don't get a lot of detail on what the actual code should be. But I am finding that now the district is adding those detailed codes, so I'm going to try to get them to be added, kind of include it all, so it looks a little bit prettier. ESSER 2 and ESSER 3 are the biggest ones, and those are the ones that are still at the high level that I kind of want the district to be a detail level on. And I think that they can now, seeing that these smaller grants are at a detail level in the past.
Other questions or comments, board members? Emery, that is a good one. Thank you.
Thanks, David.
I appreciate it.
Thanks, David.
Next thing is our superintendent's report, Mr. Shook.
Oh, thank you very much. Got a few things for you tonight. Nothing too much. We'll start with a quote. I don't know what you all know about Tony Dungy. Most of you know he was a football coach in the NFL. He was one of the first African-American coaches to win a Super Bowl. He was with Tampa Bay and Indianapolis. If you know anything about him, he's got several books out. Him and his wife have written devotional books. But Tony's had a very tough life. His son committed suicide. He struggled quite a bit with things throughout his life. So, but I really like this quote for him because he has been there. And just a really good man that I love to read his stuff and get inspiration from. So, moving on. Human Resources, Sandy.
Okay. Hello. Stephanie Hurst is our new Director of Finance. She will begin when Ada leaves. She's on now and she's working well with the team, so we're excited to have her on. Ada's doing a great job training her and transitioning her. And moving on to Brett Tolliver. Stand, Mr. Tolliver!
Get up here, Mr. Tolliver. Come on up here.
Come on down. You're the next contestant. Brett, we're bringing you here tonight to recognize you, not because you're awesome and you greet our kids every morning, but because you were inducted into the Hall of Fame at Upstate. He was inducted on February 11th. He was on the national championship team on 81-82.
I was a manager with a full ride scholarship. That's one way you can go.
He was a manager. He did a great job. He loved it there. He stayed there and he coached for 3 years. He stayed there 5 years as a student.
Well, as a student, there was really actually a 6 year, but I was also helping with the team.
With team, yeah, team
Extra
coach. And so he stayed there and he coached for 3 years. And he is now here with us, and we're just so proud of him. We want to recognize you on tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service, and we're proud of you. Give him a hand, guys.
Thank you.
y'all.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Cobb.
you. Thank you. You're welcome. And
I
contract,
like Sandy's report. She keeps things level, doesn't she?
yeah, I do. Contracts will be issued, well, that's the plan, around the 27th of March.
We'll discuss that more.
Yeah, what the board's approved, we're gonna discuss that tonight, and hopefully, we're gonna ask them to, return them on April 11th. That ends my report.
Thank you, Sandy.
Go.
Entertaining as always. Now we're gonna get a very bad report because we got to spend money, so, Russell, go ahead.
No, we had an issue with the North and Upward. And the problem is the water service that was teed off of a main that basically runs from over the kitchen area. And it runs the full length of both the courts and then all the way to the front of Upward to the bathrooms. If you're familiar with the bathrooms, when you're coming to their doors, they're right there on the left. So it's roughly 600 feet of water line. To have proper water service to that part of the building, to their restrooms, it requires a 1.5 inch water service. And right now it's kind of piecemeal together. We've got some mixed up pipe in there. We've got it, coming from 1.25 inches down to 3/4 and up from 3/4 up. And so anyway, the bottom line is it is not proper water service. To get it up to where it needs to be, it's 1.5 inches water service. So right now I've got 2 quotes. I've stopped to get a third one because I think we need a little more direction before we do this. But right now the quotes are going from $42,000 to just over $50,000
To run a water line.
to run a water line that far. Yeah. Now, you're talking about something that it's got hangers. It's got to be insulated. You've got to bring in lifts. We don't do not lifts. It's a big project. The raw materials for this thing, me and Mike, Mr. Sherman has talked, and myself and Mike have. It's water line. It's not like it's just an intense water line. It's just a big water line. There's 2 options with the water line. One is known as a product called PEX. PEX is a product that came out actually when I was in law enforcement to help combat the copper issue of getting copper stolen. That in part is true. It is from the UK, is where it was developed and still manufactured there. That's an option. And then copper is the other option. Either option, raw materials for this project is still going to be around $12,000–13,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. We have to add a lift on it. It's not something that we can't do. It's just something that's going to be labor intensive. My recommendation is we can put this water line in, especially with, we have Philip Henson, our new HVAC guy. That's an option. I mean, he's familiar with it. We all can do it. It's water line, insulated, the whole 9 yards. Then we would just hire a company to come in and tie it into the main so we don't have a swimming pool in the kitchen or over a hardwood, basketball court. Those are, just things to keep in mind. But my proposal right now would be to tell you that I have confidence in our guys to be able to do that. I've got enough knowledge to be there with them or to help, supervise it, make sure we're doing the right thing. It's got to be put in, it's got to be insulated, it's got to be hung. I've got the confidence in our guys to do it. If y'all decide that's a route we want to go to save that money, that has to be done. For the time being, I'm going to continue. We have been letting Upward use our restrooms. They cannot handle the crowds they have in those restrooms. The toilets, urinals and all just will not keep up. So we've got to give them access to at least one of our game restrooms just inside the gym as you come from the expo into the gym. That set of game restrooms right there is what we're letting them use right now to handle those crowds. We're going to continue to do that because if our guys do it, we cannot do it until the summer. Just no way for that to happen. So that's where we're at on this water line. And I can go ahead and get a third quote if we're prepared to, come up with this $40,000+. I'll leave that to y'all to decide what you want to do with that. On the good side, Philip Henson, I know, have any of y'all met Philip, the HVAC guy we hired? Super nice guy. He brought us 3 kids. Philip's got 3 kids, right? I think. Got 3 kids with him. He's fit in well. He's a lot of fun. He can take that kind of ribbon that they do with each other back there all the time. Philip done 8 years in commercial HVAC install along with HVAC service. Walton, a lot of the times with Walton. We had a unit just outside of PHC go out 2 weeks ago. It just, what happened was the kids, those little fans on the outside of the unit, kids had just finally destroyed it where it couldn't cool. So we've got something to combat that now too, due to Philip. The unit went out, it wouldn't operate on anything but emergency heat, had to be replaced. The part inside the HVAC to fix it was a little over $3,600. But for $6,000, we were able to put a brand new unit in. So Philip done that. We ordered, we got an account set up where we could buy it. Philip was licensed to have the coolants. He can pick them up, the EPA certified to handle that stuff, to trap it, to recharge. So I just wanted to put y'all at ease. I know y'all never really questioned me. Y'all had a lot of faith in me over the years, and I appreciate it. But as an example of how much we tend to save, but we will have a tendency to save over the years with Philip. We put one in last year that Priority, our current, the company we had before we hired Philip, 7.5 ton unit, different name brand, but a 7.5 ton unit done the same. Priority charged us $15,995. And we put this one in for just under $8,000, but we bought $1,200 worth of tools that we will never buy again with a unit. That decision that y'all made, that will pay for itself down the road. Was there something else that's not up there that you wanted me to?
Tell them about this summer where you may get some money for the water line.
Oh, we were approached, or I got a call, actually it was a walk-in, group of guys come in, last week. I was out of town, so I'm on vacation last week. They come in Tuesday, and they wanted to rent the expo. It's for a 3-day event. It's a no alcohol event. It's kind of a life experience kind of event with a group that travels around doing these life experience, seminars, I guess you'd say. It's a 3-day event though. They wanted use of the kitchen. They wanted use of the expo. And me and Mr. Sherman talked about it. I talked with them while I was out of town last week, and we worked out they actually were supposed to be here at 1:30 today, and they texted, so they couldn't make it. But the price tag on that's going to be what I've quoted them at this point is $15,000 for the 3 days. It's $15,000, and then there's some add-ons to that in addition to that we won't reap a dollar from, and that is our requirement to have law enforcement, Spartanburg County Sheriff's Office security, not private security. They will have a COI with the amounts of coverage that I supply them off something I've got from Drew. They will pay our maintenance people $35 an hour to be here, and they will pay somebody that knows how to operate the kitchen, Tammy, if she can. If not somebody else, they'll pay that person $35 an hour too. And they seem to have said they want to do it. So we'll move forward with that. If y'all are good with that, I'll just keep you advised as we go. We're in the infant stages of it. But the only downside to it, not a downside to it, it's just the time of year it is the week we're closed in July.
That's why we're making them pay extra for the people, because we're gonna ask them to come in on their vacation on July 4th and work. That's why we've asked for more for that person.
So just, if y'all don't have it, we'll just continue with it, and I'll just keep Mr. Sherman advised, and he'll advise y'all. So that is one thing that's on the table now.
Thank you.
They will pay for they'll pay for the materials if we choose to do the water. They'll more than pay for materials and the rental of the lift.
Can I talk to Russell?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for thinking about what is best for the school, best for budget, and what you've done to give the HVAC tech, and like you are sharing, it's already shown in savings, so appreciate that, and how well you work with those guys to do what they need to do. I have a question about the water line.
Sure.
And it may be a bigger conversation, because down the road, eventually we have plans for the school. So if we do this now, not knowing what we're gonna use that space for, but will it?
It would have to be done. Moving forward, it would have to be done.
Right, but what you're talking about installing now, the 1 1/4, would that be enough if we wanna pipe off of it down the
Yes.
road.
Yes, and we've had a discussion with Walthrop and, another company to come in and talk, I talked with about it. That's the water service, that would do it.
For the whole
Right, we
space.
would not
We
have to
put
touch it.
showers back there,
Gotcha.
whatever it should be.
Right,
Okay, we
Right.
shouldn't have to update that.
The
No.
toilets and.
no, it will not be just on behalf of getting Upper satisfied with the restroom work.
Right.
It will be, it would have to be done, it would be done the same way.
Okay.
If that helps answer that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question.
All right, everybody good now? Any more questions? All right, moving along. Joe,
Alright, so this one's been a long road, been, working long and hard with, the Power School registration folks. So we've reached a point where, if you haven't already, some of you will start getting, tomorrow or the next day, we'll go ahead and start getting, they have kids here, we'll get a email talking about intent to return. That part's all done. We tested out today with some folks, in-house. And so, the way it works with the intent to return application and registration, is kind of like several different pieces of the same system. And so you can't really do the registration piece until you know who's gonna come back. And then you can't, do the registration also until you have held the lottery. So, that's kind of a timeline, and most of these dates are, target dates, except for, when it comes to do with the lottery. I mean, that's in our charter, we have to abide by that. And so, like I said, tomorrow, we're planning on sending out, the intent to return for current, families, and then we're, making that due by the 13th. That gives us a couple of weeks. After that, when the lottery is gonna be held on the 27th. So that gives us a couple of weeks to contact families who haven't, filled it out at all and be like, hey, are you sure you're not coming back? Because, we need to know if you're coming back or not. So that gives us some here time to call them, and get that ironed out. And then, of course, the 27th is the lottery. Also on the 14th, that's when we're gonna close, the application, for, well, basically, you'll convert from online registration for current student begins, the new parents will start applying for the next school year. Because we wanna close that down, and those people who have already applied for the lottery, if they start applying, they're gonna not be applying for the lottery anymore, they're gonna be applying for the next school year, if that makes sense. Then we held the lottery on the 27th, and then, at that point, new students are contacted, and then, the full registration piece is gonna be open at that point, to move forward with it. Today I had a meeting with Power School, and, one of the biggest holdups has been getting everything translated, and all the different forms and things that the parents are gonna see, translated into Russian and Spanish, and so we have all that completed. We were taking a look at today. I sent some test stuff out. I'm gonna try to find out tomorrow from those parents, make sure all that looks good. But other than that, everything looks good. So that's kind of where we're at with that.
Connie, you're not on here, but you want to briefly, speak to where we are with, the number of people we're reaching with our videos and all the other stuff that we're doing?
We have 295 screened applications, so those are 295 solid, where cities weeded through them. And of our digital performance, excitingly enough, Mr. Sherman's video had the top performing, it was of all of them, he had 14,000 people see it, 607 clicked on it, and of them, take it back, 7,000 people clicked on it. 6,000 actually watched it for more than 3 seconds, and 607 took action to actually go to the page. So his video will run again next month, along with a few of the others, but.
Proof that even a blind squirrel will find a nut once in a while.
They must like the leadership, they wanted to see him, so I can see you processing that, Mr. Nestor.
Well, also, our videos are all over. If you go to YouTube, if you go to anywhere, our videos are everywhere. We have blanketed, we have sent out value pack. We have everything. Everybody that lives within 3 miles of the school has got a huge registration card with all of our information. Our Q codes are live. If you go in and read that thing, it pops right up. We are performing like crazy online, trying to get our name out there and get our message out there. And Connie came up with a great idea, and we're gonna shoot another video. And you wanna talk about our new video idea?
We used it a little bit for the fundraising video. We didn't absolutely love how it came out. So you all probably know beautiful Lexi Hudson. And I got to thinking, she's featured in some of our videos. So we're trying to do something that would connect with what we had already done. And you may also know SRO Adam Rhodes' little daughter Bubbles. Have you seen her? I got to thinking, yes, she's like a mini Lexi. So I think what we're gonna try to do is a video that would feature Bubbles and her wanting to become like Lexi. If you've seen them, they both have that really bubbly personality and curly hair. So we're kind of going to start young and grow into Lexi. Lexi goes off to college this year or next year.
Well, Officer Rhodes is real excited about his daughter being a star here for Rockport County.
You know, she's adorable. She's like a Shirley Temple. Like, we need to catch her while she's young because she's extremely articulate and just full of life. So we love her.
So that's our new video idea that hopefully we'll shoot, and that'll be out in the next couple of weeks. And our videos are everywhere. People stop me all the time.
Well, you're a star.
You're a
I mean, there were so many.
Well, they don't really talk about me, they just talk about all the videos that they see from High Point, and we've covered this area in an incredible way. And we hope it's gonna, Connie, do you know how many we had in the lottery this year last time?
Yes, 210.
And today we have 295.
Yeah.
And I was reading through the people in the lottery, and the thing that I saw that I really liked is a lot, and Paulette was looking at it too, a lot of the people who are applying in K-5 and first and second grade are coming from the better daycares and churches in the area. So our message is getting out where we want it to go to parents who really care about education. So our mission and our vision statement is getting out, and it's resonating with people. And I think that is really good news. I think we're making tremendous progress with that. Connie has worked very hard on that, and I appreciate what she's done with that. But we are really starting to make some connections with the community, and people are watching our stuff. And that's great news. Listen, if they'll watch me, they'll watch anything. All right, moving on. Reauthorization update. As you all know, next year is the last year of our wonderful charter. Outside of our strategic plan, it's the best kept secret in the school. But our charter is coming to an end. And we have decided that rather than try to do surgery on the old charter, we're going to be better off just writing a brand new charter. The old one it would be too hard to change. There was too much specificity in the old one that kind of tied our hands with things that we needed to do. And as Mary Allison tells me, I always give myself an out. So we want to not be as specific in our language, and we want a charter that will last forever. We can change programs and change different things, but our charter remains the same, and our mission and our vision stay the same. So tomorrow I'm taking a team. I'm taking our librarian, Brandy Huckabee. I'm taking Shelley Medford. I'm taking Debbie Wright, one of our coaches. And Katie and I are going to a goal writing workshop to get our goals out, to figure out what we're going to do. Now, I've been asking the district, Katie, when did I first send them an email?
Halloween.
On Halloween Day. I figured I would scare them. So I sent them an email on Halloween Day asking them what kind of timeline they had and what they wanted. So last week, me and Katie were down at the district office in Columbia. And so we went by to see them, said, have you been getting our emails? Yes. Why haven't you responded? Well, they're in the process of doing a timeline, and their timeline is August the 1st. I don't think we're going to be able to do that realistically. What I hope the goal is to have the charter written by August. Have my principals read it, have some other people read it, send it to the attorney to read it, get some feedback. So late August, early September, I can get it to the board to look at, to approve. I can't send it to them until the board approves it. So I don't see how we get it there before October under our current plan. I'm going to be down there again tomorrow, and I'm going to speak with Chris Neely and their people, and I've been asking since October 31st. And they still have I think their board, am I right, Katie, their board's gonna vote on it on March the 7th or the 8th?
I don't know.
Didn't they tell us?
I believe at the next board meeting, they're gonna vote on that.
And I think that's like the 10th, so, we're not gonna get that information until the middle of March, and to give us an August date, an August 1st deadline is not gonna work for us. Not when I've been asking for 4 months and been stonewalled. So I don't know what that's gonna look like, but, our plan is to go down and we have a thinking framework. What we're trying to do is put all of our ideas on a one-pager. And then, once we get that on a one-pager, expand all those ideas into a full-blown charter, strategic plan working document. And it has to be things that we're actually doing. It has to be things that are part of our goals and our plans. So that is where we are. Katie, if you want to go one more. That is Greenville County's. I worked on that years ago. They just changed this into 2023. So I worked on the 2018 one where we came up with goals. They put their vision and mission part. This is how they did theirs. I'm not a fan of that one because it's too busy with words. But that is a one-pager. If you go to Greenville County's website, they have a 25-page ebook that is kind of a breakdown. And then they have a 250-page actual strategic plan. I don't know what's strategic about 200 and some pages, but that's what they did. So we went to Spartanburg County Foundation and we looked at another strategic plan, and we really liked the way that one resonated with us. It's not as busy, but it kind of has some things. So we're working on a one-pager that we'll show you when we're done, to kind of give everybody an idea of who we are and what we're doing, and then we will expound all those ideas into a full-blown charter. And so tomorrow, our goal is to get all of our goals that we want, make sure they're measurable, make sure they're SMART goals, make sure we can do them, and then begin to write the charter the way it needs to be written. It's going to be a lot of work. I'll be using my writers, the principals, assistant principals, some of our coaches. There'll be a lot of people. Jenna Joe is going to be on that committee that's going to start reading stuff for us once we start getting stuff done. So there's going to be a lot of people involved in this process over the next several months to make sure we turn out a product that we can be proud of. And basically is a good rendition of what High Point Academy is and what we want to do. What's next, Katie? All right, the donate button. Remember we talked about we were going to be online to donate. Katie, if you'll go to the donate button. That will take you here. If you go to donate today, give now, and you can scroll down to the bottom. It tells you what to do. You put in your Visa card, money sent directly to an account, and it is funneled to us. So that is now live. People can donate online. On March the 16th, we're doing our first fundraiser. And whose idea was that?
Grace.
Grace. Mm-hmm. Gray had an idea. When we do our play, we're going to start a fundraiser and ask everybody in the school and everybody attends the play to fund a chair, to put new chairs in the PAC. So we're going to start our first fundraiser. We're going to try to raise money. Everybody buy one chair. And if everybody buys a chair, if every family here buys a chair, that's $1,300. If everybody who comes and buys one, we could get 1,600 chairs for the pack without having to really cost us anything. So
That chair cost.
anywhere between 100 and 200, depending upon what we do, depending on if we buy singles, depending if we buy them in rows with other things. We don't know what we're going to buy yet. What we'll do is as the money comes in, I'll have Ada or Anne Marie set up an account that is just for the chairs somewhere in the account code, and so all that money will funnel into that account code and will be held there until we spend it.
May I speak?
Yes, please.
Well, I know we're not supposed to speak in board meetings. What we're gonna do is, I have a meeting on Wednesday set up with a representative for the donor software.
And so we're actually gonna be able to flag within the donor software which account we're gonna have like a donate the chair thing, so it'll make it really easy to code within our own budgeting as well, and those two things will be linked.
So it's exciting that we're starting to get to that point. Also, Katie and I went to the Spartanburg County Foundation about 2 weeks ago. We've been trying to get in for 6 to 8 months, and we finally got in the door. We had a great meeting with them. They're going to do a philanthropy night for High Point, which means board members, principals, some of our coaches can go down, and we'll be able to talk to, they'll send the list to all their big donors, and their donors will come out, and we'll have like 10 TVs set up where we can be running a middle school program, an athletic program, an elementary program, all the different things we want to run where people can come and talk to different people and see what we're doing, to see if we can't get some support, which was huge for us, to be able to get into that venue. So we're hoping that's going to happen. I hope it doesn't happen till late April, early May, or I'm not going to make it. But that is the goal, to do that. So the last thing is when we went to the Spartanburg County Foundation, Katie and I said to you all before we were going to do a slideshow and we were going to share it with the board so that you all would have a copy of this so you can use it if you want to talk to people, do your elevator speech, so you will have it. So Katie's going to click on it real quick. We're going to go through the PowerPoint real quick. This is what we did at the Spartanburg County Foundation, is we went through the PowerPoint with Mary Thomas, their director. It basically just gives us some information about who we are. Gives us our mission and our vision. If you go down another one, there's some stuff here at the bottom for you all to look at. If you'll see some notes, so if you want to use the notes on the PowerPoint to talk to people, Katie has included notes in there as well. Go back to number 6 there. This is how is a charter school different than a traditional public school? You will get that question a lot. You have the notes down there as well. We like to put this slide up to number 7. We like that slide a lot. We've got a lot of mileage out of that slide, and it's been really good. Number 8 shows, one of the things that donors want to know is, are you reaching every student? Are you reaching your subgroups? So this slide is a good slide, or an indication that we're reaching our subgroups. This is a slide about our media center. Many of the donors who give are big on reading and literacy. So making sure we showcase our library and what we're doing will probably help secure us some funds. We talk about our fine arts program. In fact, I have sent several free tickets to the United Way. I'm sending them to Polydeck, and we're also sending some to the Spartanburg County Foundation to try to get some of these people to get their donors to come watch our musicals, to come see what we're doing, to try to build more interest in our school and what we're doing. This is kind of talks about our current athletic openings, what we have. We showcase our gym in slide 12. Slide 13, we showcase our new playground. Slides 14 and 15 are renditions, and slide 15 is kind of a visual of what that would look like on our current land if we were to build the fields and the tennis courts and the things that we want. And then slide 16 is our 10-year plan for both facilities and academics. So Katie's going to send that to you all. We told you all a couple months ago we were going to send that to you. So now you will have this PowerPoint and you will have these talking points. If somebody asks you questions, you will have that to talk with them about. So if you have questions about it, let me or Katie know. We can get you more information of what you may need. But we thought this would be handy for you all to keep. Some of you may just keep it on your phone or whatever, and you'll have it in case you need it. But we thought this was good information for you to have. And that concludes my report.
Any question, board members have questions for Mr. Sherman?
Who kind of headed up this Meet HPA slideshow? I want to give some credit. Katie, thank you.
Katie talked to a lot of our coaches, but she put the slideshow together for the Spartanburg County Foundation meeting. But a lot of our coaches and the principals and stuff contributed. Those slides come from many different things that we've done throughout the building.
Yeah.
And so, we're just putting them in to try to help you all.
It's a lot of great information, the way that it's put together looks really, really good.
And we can make changes, additions, deletions, but, whatever you all need, this is for your benefit to help you all. So whatever you all need for us to help you, let us know, and we'll be glad to continue to do so.
All right, not hearing anything else. That concludes the open part of our board meeting. We're gonna have an executive session now. If I could have a motion that we go into executive session. Thank you, Derek. And Alex, is that you for a second? All in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, let's take a little break and then.
Thank you all, big, good night.
Okay,